It's now my honor to invite Mr. Zafar Masud, the Chairman, Pakistan Bank Association.
Governor Sahab, my fellow presidents, very respected officials of State Bank of Pakistan, the officers of the banking industry, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening. It's truly an honor to welcome you all, and in particular to thank the Honorable Governor, State Bank of Pakistan, for graciously joining us as the chief guest for this important session. Tonight, it's not just a closing ceremony. It is a moment of reflection and, more importantly, a moment of collective pride for Pakistan's financial sector. जिसको कहते हैं ना, वो एक मिसरा है कि देर आए दुरुस्त आए. We came late. I agree with Suhail Jawad Sahab, but nevertheless we are there now. And you know, Junaid Sahab, my request to you would be that we should continue with this as we go along. We are gathered here to mark something genuinely historic. For the first time in Pakistan's banking history, the industry came together voluntarily, collaboratively, and proactively to conduct an industry-wide cyber drill. This initiative was not driven by regulation. It was not triggered by an incident either. It was driven merely by foresight, and that in itself reflects how far our industry has matured. The extent of participation in this drill speaks volumes in itself. 35 entities, in fact 35 banks and one more entity, 36 entities, well actually 37 now, took part in this week-long exercise, including 35 banks along with NIFT and OneLink. The representatives almost, and I look forward, Governor Sahab, that next time RAST will also have its representation in this kind of drill. This represents almost the entire financial ecosystem of the country coming together with a shared understanding that cyber risk is no longer an individual institution's issue. It's a systemic concern. If one institution is compromised, confidence in the entire system is shaken. That is why resilience must also be collective. It is important to clarify what this drill was not. It was not about ranking banks. It was not about naming or shaming. It was not about penalizing an institution. The objective was straightforward and constructive: to raise the collective baseline, to identify common gaps, to strengthen the industry together rather than in isolation. We have been operating in isolation for too long as an industry. This is about time that we need to be more collaborative and inclusive. This collaborative mindset may well be one of the most valuable outcomes of this entire exercise, Governor Sahab. What made this cyber drill particularly meaningful was its dual track structure. On one side, technical teams and CISOs tested detection capabilities, response accuracies, and speed under simulated cyber scenarios. And at the same time, senior management teams, including CROs, CCOs, compliance, and communication heads, as Maad mentioned, were placed in realistic decision-making environments. They were required to manage business continuity, regulatory coordination, customer communication, media response, and reputational risk simultaneously. This structure reinforced a critical reality that technology may detect incidents, but the leadership determines outcomes. Cyber events do not remain confined to IT systems alone. They escalate quickly to executive leadership and boardrooms. True resilience prevails when technology preparedness and leadership judgment are fully aligned. There is another dimension that deserves recognition, and it's the real peril in this whole space of technology, particularly cyber security. That is availability of qualified people. Cyber security today is not only a technology test, it's a talent challenge, which in many ways is a much bigger strain than technology per se. As skilled cyber professionals are scarce globally and increasingly mobile. Drills such as this creates something far more powerful than training programs alone. They create purpose, they create ownership, they create national relevance. When professionals see that their work protects not just a single institution, but the stability of the entire financial system, it builds pride and long-term commitment towards excellence. This is how talent is nurtured and retained. This initiative also stands as a strong example of what can be achieved when the regulator and industry works in partnership. When the relationship evolves beyond compliance towards capability building, the outcomes become far more meaningful and sustainable. Governor Saab, as we have also been discussing earlier today, perhaps more meaningful devolution is necessary between banking and SBP teams at the operational level to work with mutual respect and empathy for each other, as we have witnessed at the senior level, sir. And that's all owed to your leadership, sir. While the respect for the regulator is paramount for us, without any doubts, however, the banking professionals shall also be acknowledged as partners and treated as such. This will only improve communication and working relationship at the operational level, which go a very long way in making exercises like the one concluded today more meaningful and impactful, sir. Another aspect that needs attention of the industry as a whole, and for that I would seek ear of my fellow presidents, is the equitable working arrangement with the vendors. In the recent cyber instances, we have noticed that there have been lapses on the part of the vendors, which they had accepted. However, the agreements were so one-sided that the banks have not been able to extract the due claim amounts. This is something that we all need to work jointly on as the banking industry to make the arrangements with vendors balanced and fair. Perhaps a boilerplate needs to be drafted at the industry level by PBA. Najib, perhaps you can take a lead on this. And the industry players agree not to compromise on those clauses with the technology vendors. We may need support from you, Governor Saab, and State Bank of Pakistan on this as well to further strengthen our position with the vendors while engaging them for a project related to technology, especially cyber-related matters. On behalf of banking industry, I would like to sincerely thank the State Bank of Pakistan for its guidance, encouragement, and confidence throughout this initiative and otherwise. I'm saying this with the hand on my heart. Really, we have the best regulator possible here in Pakistan. I would also like to acknowledge the PBA Executive Committee, the leadership of participating banks, and the many teams across IT, cybersecurity, risk, operations, and communications who invested their time and energy in this effort. Your seriousness, commitment made this possible. Let me conclude with this thought. This cyber drill is not the destination. It's the foundation. Threats will continue to evolve in speed, scale, and sophistication. Our response must be to evolve with the equal urgency and collectively as industry. I am emphasizing that on these matters, we have to collaborate better. We have to be more inclusive as an industry. Otherwise, we will continue to suffer any cyber instances or attacks or gaps going into the future if we continue to operate in isolation. Future workouts will be deeper, more advanced, and more integrated across the financial system. Because resilience is not built through a single exercise, it's built through continuity, learning, and collective resolve. Maad and Junaid, my expectation to you both is that please continue to do this on a regular basis. And you will have full commitment from PBA and all the presidents. You can see so many presidents here. Although आज सारा दिन हमने स्टेट बैंक में गवर्नर साहब के साथ गुजारा है, मगर सब माशाल्लाह यहाँ पर हाजिर हैं अभी, because this shows the seriousness that we attach to this project. And let me tell you, we really mean it. And you will see us standing right next to you. आप initiative लें and you will find us standing right next to you. It must be embedded and instilled in the system, and it can't become effective with one-off initiatives. It demands working with the entire ecosystem collectively and inclusively with mutual respect and empathy. Thank you, and I wish you a very good evening ahead.